Question 13. Using 0 through 9, how many 4-digit numbers are evenly divisible by 5 with repeated digits allowed? Okay, so we'll set up our 4 digits. Now, the only real thing here that we have to keep in mind is that our last number, if we want our number overall to be divisible by 5, has to be a 0 or a 5. That gives us two options for our last digit. Our first number can't be a 0, because again, a 4-digit number starting with 0 is really a 3-digit number. So that gives us 9 options for that spot. And then there's no restriction on our second and third spots. They can be any number from 0 to 9, so there are 10 options for both of those. And multiplying those together quickly gives you 1,800. Now, if we want a 4 or 5-digit number that are evenly divisible by 5 with repeated digits allowed, well, the 4-digit number is essentially what we did in part A, but I'll kind of do it again. We can have this is a 0 or a 5, this is not a 0. So we have 9 options, 10 options, 10 options, and 2 options. Now, if we did this as a 5-digit number, same thing. Last number can be a 0 or 5. This one can't be a 0. So now it's 9, 10, 10, 10, 2, which is going to be 18,000. And since it's an or 4 or 5 digits, we just add those together and get 19,800 possible 4 or 5-digit numbers. The last one may seem similar, but it's a little trickier. Repeated digits are not allowed. I'm going to start this one off and then I'll try to explain it as I'm going, but just bear with me here. It's a little bit weird. I'm going to break it into 2 scenarios. We have a 6-digit number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to break it down where this one ends in a 0 and this one ends in a 5. And the reason I'm doing that is because if in my first scenario, I just say, okay, the last number can be a 0 or a 5, and then it's divisible by 5. Well, since I'm not allowed to repeat digits, if the last number is a 0, the first number can be anything else. It can be 1 through 9. If, however, the last number is a 5, then the first number can't be 5 or 0, so there's one less option. So we actually have to separate this out into 2 separate cases. So I don't have to put a restriction on the first one because 0's already been taken. This one I can't, I should just put down this one can't be 0. It can't be 0 because 0's taken. This one can't be 0 or 5. It can't be a 0 because it can't start in 0, and it can't be a 5 because the 5's already gone. So if we have 9 digits, one of them has been taken. I have 9 left to choose from, and then 8, 7, 6, 5. And then over here, the first one, I can't have a 0 or 5. That leaves me with 8 possible things. Now, the second number can't be a 5 or the thing I used in the first spot. There's still 8 possible outcomes for that one, and then 7, 6, and 5. So this becomes 9 pick 5. The or becomes a plus, and this becomes 8 times 8 pick 4. Again, you don't have to write them using that notation. You can just basically do the math manually if you'd like.